and welcome to Rising Match Day this Wednesday, the 13th of October. I'm Owen Evans, here to run through all the talk ahead of tonight's Rising match against Orange County. But first, let's look back to the weekend as Rising saw off Oakland. The final meeting between Rising and Oakland of the regular season, Phoenix winning 2, losing 1 prior to Saturday. A good early start for the hosts. Aidan Quinn's free kick met with a low header from Darren Mattocks. That won the striker's 5th goal for the club. As with the week before, that's all the goals Rising had to offer, but Andre Rolls came up big in the Phoenix net, making a variety of saves to keep his side on top. That pattern on display still well into injury time, but Rolls does keep the clean sheet and Rising take it 1-0. Here's the post-game reaction.
Well, hey, credit to Oakland. They're such a fluid team. Their movement, they've changed quite a bit. Really improved since the beginning of the year. But still, I think, offensively we were sharp. We created a lot of good opportunities. I think we left a lot on the table. We probably, on a better night, it's 3 or 4. And they had 2 that probably should have gone in, but Andre made 2 spectacular saves. And in a game where you're not scoring, you start to get nervous because you leave these teams around and eventually they get a moment and it's 1-1. But, Ralsey's been on fire and he's kind of saved our butts again tonight.
I think we're officially getting into the playoff soccer mode. We're down to 4 games left and then it's crunch time. So this isn't the time to be kind of letting the foot off the gas. This is the time to be perfecting it, and this is the time to really getting the mentality that winning is everything, and winning the individual battles is everything. As a core, defensively, if we win our individual battles, we keep the clean sheet, and we've proven that 5 games before this. So I think it's just that mentality switch looking forward.
I think I made the right choice, huh? Ralsey's... the best thing about Andre is that he's the same every day. He's one of these goalkeepers that is just so consistent in training, in the games. You know exactly what you're going to get from a guy like this. And usually goalkeepers are a bit strange, but Ralsey's the most normal human being I've ever worked with that's played goalkeeper. So I like him a lot, and we're really fortunate to have him here.
Well, that playoff mentality that Andre was talking about, how critical is that for the boys at the moment?
I think that's important because when you tend to get the place on the playoff early, unconsciously maybe you lose a little bit, not lose, but you know what I mean. And it's important to play these 4 last games as if you were at the playoff. And for us that we are not playing that much, or I just arrived, it's our matches that we need to go in and just create doubts in the coach and help, that internal competitive that you need in a team to at the end reach what we want, that is the USL Cup, right?
Well, Seijas is the most experienced member of the squad, but getting into the business end of the season now, what does he see as his role on the team?
Well, like Rick told me since the beginning, it's not only on the field. I try to pass my experience. I've been playing for a lot of years in a tournament that also have playoff, and maybe in a different way, but it has a regular season, and then you start the good part. That this is a fun part. And for me, it's kind of weird that Phoenix doesn't have the USL Cup. Once I was looking at the trophies the club has, it's kind of weird, because now that you see how the organization is what's missing, and hopefully with my will, with my experience, I can transmit that to the players. The only way you transcend in a team, it's winning trophies, and the important ones. That is the only way. If not, one season, nobody's going to think about you, and that's what happened to me in Santa Fe, where I won a lot of things, important things. Nobody's going to forget me. So that's what I'm trying to pass on here, that if everything ends up like the way we intended, we're going to be unforgettable on this team. So that's a big, motivation.
Rising has its playoff spot sealed up, but there was a big result elsewhere on Sunday afternoon. Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh, the visitors convinced they'd scored within 25 minutes, but the officials not judging this ball to have crossed the line. Instead, not long before the break, Pittsburgh taking the lead through Thomas Williamson. Rowdies had a route back into the game. Giovanni Dos Santos brought down by the goalkeeper, Izmir Pekmic pointing to the spot, but a poor effort from Leo Fernandez saved easily by Danny Vitiello. Instead of an equaliser, Alex Dixon ends up being brought down at the other end by Forrest Lasso, penalty to Riverhounds. Russell Cicerone tucks away the spot kick. Pittsburgh takes it by 2-0. Well, that result leaving Tampa Bay 1 point behind Rising with the same games played. Phoenix now atop the entire league. But being in the driving seat, having control over their own destiny, does that add any extra pressure to the Rising camp?
Well, but good pressure, before that game, the pressure was that we need to do our thing and wait for Tampa to fall. Now you only got one job, and I think tomorrow is a very big game. Of course, because the way the stadium is, the atmosphere, and I think it's very important to take that advantage. I mean, it will be a huge advantage, because how our fans live the game, and also for the owners, it's important for the owners, and we need to know that. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. We were very happy when we saw the result of Tampa, and now it's on us,
Well, since Rising has confirmed its spot on top of the Pacific Division, we know that their first opponent in the playoffs will be the side that finishes 4th in the Mountain Division. So let's take a look at the race for the playoffs over there. New Mexico taking on RGV on Saturday. Terrible play near his own goal from Michael Azira. He gives it away to Kyle Edwards. He knocks it over to Elvis Aimo for an early Toros lead. New Mexico would get an equaliser, Sergio Rivas with an impressive little spin, before laying it off to Chris Wean, the game finishing 1-1. One last game to peek at, OKC travelling to Austin, the visitors taking a late lead in the last 10 minutes, Rising Loney Shea Adekoya picking out Viljan Bijev. A late twist to this one, Nick Hines brought down just inside the penalty area as the game entered stoppage time. Javier Baez with a goal from the spot to see the game end 1-1. So it's a tight race in the Mountain Division, looking at that 4th playoff spot. Austin Bold occupying it at the moment, New Mexico a point behind, and RGV a point behind them. The one key, Austin's game in hand, they have that tonight at 5. They'll be taking on Birmingham Legion. Well, looking at tonight's game, a midweek fixture on the road. The entire Rising squad has travelled over for it, and they'll stay away from home until they come back after Saturday's game in Vegas. But should we expect the same kind of wholesale rotation tonight that we've seen in previous midweek fixtures?
Probably 5 starters from the last game. I'm not sure. 5 or 6. So pretty close. we have to be smart about this, and I've always been a big believer that we've earned the right to rotate the squad a little bit. It would make no sense for us to play just 11 guys 3 games straight this week when the only thing we can really win is home field advantage in a game that we may or may not be playing it. So winning the Western Conference is probably the most important, obviously. But right now we know that we have 2 games at home in the playoffs if we get there. But you can only prepare for one, and that's what we're trying to do in this process.
It's less than 2 weeks since these sides last faced off, but should we expect to see anything different from tonight's opposition?
Well, I think that we're going to see even more desperation because they really need to get a result. So I don't know if they'll change the system. He seems to be pretty set in a 4-4-2 and with Damas and Akoli up front. So that's kind of what we're prepared for, but it very possibly could go back to a 4-3-3. And at this point right now, it doesn't change a whole lot for us. We're really excited because, like I said, this gives us an opportunity to see a different combination of players. I think the team we put out tomorrow night will be very, very good, and it'll set up well for Orange County.
And what lessons did the boys learn from that last clash?
Yeah, OC has a great team, and I do congratulate the coach. I passed through when I was going to the dressing rooms because they have an idea and they try to play by it. They have technical players. They have very quick players on the front, but we also have our strengths. And I think last game we suffer a little bit, and they take full advantage of that throw-ins they have. That it's tough. But after seeing the videos, I mean, we have an idea of what we need to adjust to try not to suffer that much, especially in the second half.
And finally, with Orange County coming off a 4-1 loss to Tacoma on the weekend, is Rick worried at all about any extra motivation that the opposition might have tonight?
Worried, no. Expected, yes. I mean, like I said, at this point in the year, these guys are fighting for second, third, and fourth, and it makes a big difference. If you can end up in second place, you're at home for a game. If you're fourth place, you're playing the top seed, El Paso on the road. So I think that for the most part, these teams are right now, everybody's playing for everything. And we just have to match that desire to win. And I think our guys, they still have goals they want to achieve, and they want to have the best record. They do. And I, like I said, I believe that whoever we put on the field gives us a chance to win.
Well, that's all from me. Tonight's game, a 7 p.m. kickoff at Championship Stadium. Enjoy the match. Goodbye.